sound nice.
Yo, Lady Bex.
My mic sound nice. Check 2. My mic sound nice. Check 3. Are you ready?
Now that's Black Girl Magic.
The sisterhood radio. The sisterhood radio. The sisterhood radio. The sisterhood radio.
I know that's right.
Unbossed, unbothered, unbothered. The sisterhood radio. Yo, what's poppin', Philly? It's your boy Warbucks, checking out the Sisterhood Radio podcast with LaRock and Lady Bex. Strong, independent, educated black woman. Yeah, dig, huh?
Sisterhood Radio, unbossed and unbothered with LaRock and Lady Bex.
Hey everybody, welcome. It's the Sisterhood Radio show. How's everybody doing? Bex, you're muted.
I am good. What is up? LaRock, how are you?
It is Friday again. It's the Sisterhood Radio. My name is LaRock Lewis. That is
Lady Bex. Hey.
I don't know. It's what is it? Is it I don't know, freezing or not? I hope not.
Oh, but, hot.
Oh, it is. Okay, well, this is the Sisterhood Radio, and we're here on Friday, and we're happy it's Friday, and it has been a pleasant week. It is summertime. We are enjoying the weather outside. Yay! We are definitely enjoying the weather outside, and the world has opened up a bit. You know, people are outside. Restaurants are opening up, and what else is happening out there?
People taking off their masks. Well, see, I'm not like it. I'm not feeling that.
You know, I haven't noticed people taking off their masks. I see people are pretty, you know, keeping up with the mask on. You can't enter into any place without a mask. So when you go into, because I was at the liquor store, no judgment, but you had to put a mask on. We had to put a mask on going into every store, every restaurant. So that's definitely mandatory from, I believe each state is having that mandatory, but people are out. So I definitely, I'm liking that the world is opening up and that we're able to live a little bit, and plus it's summertime. People want to be out during summertime. People are tired of being cooped up in the house, right? Although it was safer during quarantine time, but now it's time to just be free. Everybody wants to be free. Everybody's. What do you mean? You know about what?
So I don't know about that. Like I get outside and I'm like, oh, okay, you're a little too close.
Right. Well, we're still keeping up with the social distancing guidelines. Like we're still trying to keep 6 feet apart. Make sure you have your own people bubble that you are frequently around and stay around those same people. People are having gatherings and cookouts, but they're keeping it at a small number. So we're making sure we're keeping up with that. That's pretty important. No 200 people gatherings. We're not doing that. That's not very safe for us. But we'll keep it under, I'll say under 10 people. That's pretty good. With your mask on or not?
10 people with masks on. Well,
with mask on, wash your hands, do the things we're supposed to do. So hopefully we can be free again. But it's a great show today. I'm very, very happy about today's show because we know that health is wealth is what we love to talk about here on the Sisterhood Radio. We talk about it all the time. For the past 3 years, Lady Bex and I have been talking about staying healthy for us as people, for us as Black women. And it's very important that we keep on with that health track, right? Now, it's very popular to be healthy. It's very, very popular to eat right. And so the world knows that what we need to do to keep ourselves healthy. And so our special guest today is a very, very important person of ours. She means a lot in our family. And she is the founder of the Natural Mixx. Her name is Theresa Quitto-Dickerson. Let's get some round of applause for Theresa to come in. Woo, Theresa!
Hey!
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic. We're happy to have you on the show.
Awesome.
We're happy to have you here. This is the first time you being on our show, yeah?
Yeah, this is the first time. This is pretty cool. I get it. My big cousins I look up to probably gonna be like, "Hey, I'm here with y'all."
Oh, yay!
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody who doesn't know, Mrs. Theresa Quitto-Dickerson is our first cousin. We're all cousins. It's all family right here. All part of the same line.
Yeah.
Same grandpappy, same grandmother.
Yup.
We all come from the same family, and we wanted you on our show, Theresa, because you're doing some really great things. And we always are doing great things, but this is something that you really want to promote, and that we're so proud of you, and that's why you're on the show. Just to give a little background on Mrs. Theresa Quitto-Dickerson. You began your journey through wellness through advocacy in 2016, and you began teaching others in 2018 about wellness through entertainment classes, and finally incorporating this year with the founding of your company, the Natural Mixx Company, an organic and all-natural e-commerce blend of technology, commerce, and community. That sounds really smart. I can't wait to hear about that.
Thank you.
That sounds like a lot going on right there, and I love it. And you're committed to promoting the switch to living organically through technology and e-commerce. The Natural Mixx Education, Mix and Melt Studios, Community, the Organic Journey Network. Yes. And social justice, let's mobilize. That's amazing. Also, I want to talk about this journey. You started this journey when you found out you had diagnosed with rheumatoid condition, right? Which is another part of arthritis, and you'll get to talk about it if you like. Kind of started that, right?
Yeah, that's how it started.
And then I want to keep, you have so much here. We're going to get through some of this. You're also a mother of three boys, three men.
Whatever. They're my three babies still. They're still my babies.
3 men.
Don't tell.
And you're also a grandmother of 2 granddaughters. And you even want to share about you being a teen mom and you making it through. And that's awesome too. And that's awesome for teen moms out there who feel like they can't reach the next goal, but you actually did, and you can also share about that. You also are part of, let me switch my pages here, part of the LGBTQ plus community, being married to your wife for about, I thought I saw another paper, but it was
16.
like 16 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Give us some hand claps, DJ Powerhouse, for that. Yay. That's amazing. Some of us didn't make it.
You're like,
Congratulations on that. Anyway, I want to just tell you, welcome to the show. Welcome to the SistaHood Radio. Yay!
Hey,
sorry, more
thank
hand
you.
claps.
Thank you. I'm just kidding.
No, we love it. We definitely love it. So tell us what this why you began this journey of eating organically.
So I don't know, about 5 years ago, I was having some issues, and I was on a plane and I had a really severe allergic reaction, and I had to get escorted off the plane because I was in pain. Yeah, I was in pain, and I took an ibuprofen, and I was like, okay, what is this? And I'm actually allergic to the whole entire ibuprofen family. I didn't know that. And that's what happened. So anyway, I get escorted off the plane, and I end up going to the hospital, obviously, and they recognized that my inflammation markers, which is how they sort of figure this out, was super high. And so they obviously pushed me to go to a specialist. And so I got tested, and I got tested for scleroderma, and which is it's a rheumatoid disease, and I also got diagnosed with some arthritis. And so because of that, and the fact that it's an inflammation disease and it makes you really puts you in a lot of pain, a lot of inflammation, your go-to is normally an ibuprofen, right? Or an Advil or something like that. Well, I'm allergic to that, right? Because I escorted off the plane because of it. And so I had to find a way to stay well without just staying in pain. And so that started my journey of just researching what is out there to help me, because obviously there's something out there, but I just didn't know, right? So I started digging and trying to figure out. So I get to Google, and of course Google gives me like a bajillion, resources, and I was like, okay, so
like Google
I just
your
started,
symptoms.
Right, exactly. Of course, Dr. MD obviously freaked me out. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
You are right about that. You are right about that.
Yeah, my wife is like, put down WebMD, Theresa, okay? But anyways, I did have to figure out like what can I do. So that's what started me looking, and I started to stumble upon sort of this organic and natural living concepts where there's natural herbs out there that can do better than the synthetic stuff that's out there. And so I just started to experiment. I guess it's probably not the best word to use, but I did start to experiment and have a choice, right? And I just started to find different herbs that would just help me feel better and help me get through my day. And from that, it just sort of like it just started rolling downhill or rolling uphill rather. And I just started realizing there's so much stuff out there. So I'm doing these herbs or whatever, and I start to realize that I'm still not, lessening my markers. I'm still not, getting better. And start doing some more research, and it turns out my products have stuff in it that's causing me inflammation. I'm just like, for real? Like, you know what I'm saying?
So talk about those products. Are those hair products? Is lotions?
So it's everything, right? There's stuff in everything. Specifically, everybody's body works differently. So some people's bodies have gluten allergies. There's gluten in some of your lotions and you don't realize it, which can cause fatigue and can cause you to feel inflammation like I did, or cause you to have a myriad of symptoms. And if you're not hip to it, then you don't know what's going on. Obviously, the food is another thing that I found out. And just recently, I have a podcast, and I've been interviewing wellness experts, and I just found out that spinach and kale, can cause me issues. Because I was just like, still like, what's going on? Everyone's like, eat kale, right? They're like, eat spinach, eat kale, eat spinach.
Right. The green leafy
exactly.
Vegetables.
Well, they have oxidators, or I hope I said that right. They oxidize, and that causes inflammation. So it's all about like I literally just work. but remember, that affects me, right? So because I have an inflammation problem, it's triggering that particular genetic marker. So but that's what I'm saying. Like, I just learned that last week, to be honest, and I was like, crap, I got all this spinach. What am I gonna do, right?
Send it to me.
Right.
But
go ahead.
The good thing is that you found out about it early, and you keep saying genetics. So do we know what side of the family that falls under?
Y'all like,
Well, in our family, osteoporosis actually runs in our family. A lot of, especially in the women. I don't know about your uncle, your dad, but in the women, they have it severely.
Yep.
So I know it's something that we as women in our family need to look out for. And so you were saying that it was, how you found out about it. What else can you say? How can we look for things that we know we may be allergic to? Because,
Well, so one of the myriad of tests that I had to take, because, obviously doctors can't just there's not a magic wand. They have to go through all these processes. One of which was not immunity test, allergy test. And so, which is really weird because they poke you a lot, with 100 needles. Yeah. It's super weird. And they just put it in these little tube thingies, and it just lines up, and it's they put your blood in tree oil or etc. Right. Mm-hmm. And so that tests what you're allergic to. And there's also some tests that, again, I just found this out from another wellness expert, that you can get a blood tracing. And to answer your question, Bex, to see whether or not there's any genetic markers, right, that you might be susceptible to. But realizing that just because you might be susceptible to some type of genetic whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get triggered. Apparently, stress can trigger a genetic issue, right? Who knew, right? Stress. Here's another reason why stress is bad. So it can trigger something that might not have shown up otherwise. Yeah.
My eczema.
Right, Oh, really? Yeah. So that's a perfect example. Yeah. That's your body reacting to something that, without an outside stimulus probably would just, is just sort of calm. So the same thing can be said for some genetic issues. Again, I just learned this last week, so I'm still digging into it. But besides that, just if you want to find out if you're allergic to something, or if you're feeling something weird, the best thing you can do is you can go to your doctor. Even though I'm an advocate for natural health care, you got to start somewhere.
Right.
And I'm saying it's better, you don't want to go on WebMD and start to diagnose yourself, because
you lose your mind.
Right.
I have done that.
Oh my God,
gosh, am I going? So
I'm having a heart attack.
Yes. I'm like, oh my God. So I want to just go back to what you just said. As far as like the stresses. So like all of these things that were going on with COVID-19, and sometimes you don't know that you're stressed or you don't feel like it, but unconsciously you are. And all of a sudden I just started getting like my back pain. Like I suffer with scoliosis for years, right? My back hasn't hurt for years until we got into COVID. And my back hurt, shoulders hurt, and I'm like, oh, I think I'm stressed out. You know what I mean?
Well, y'all are in New York, so
inflammation everywhere. It's like just hearing you talking, I'm like, my legs were hurting last night, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Either I'm gaining weight in the house, or I'm stressed.
It definitely, and that's the thing. Like, when I was talking to a doctor yesterday, actually, and he was talking about how if our minds aren't where they need to be, and that comes from like the stress we're talking about, then our bodies will start to feel like there's something wrong, and it will start to react, right? And so that's why a lot of people in the organic and natural sort of sphere, one of the modalities is meditation, and the other modality is about sort of like mindfulness, because if you can like get yourself in a place where you're just like, I am okay, like there's nothing wrong, your body will start to calm down, right? Because the effect of pain is a natural reaction that we have that's saying something is wrong. So it's one of those triggers, right? And so if we're stressed and we're thinking, our body's like, oh, what? I don't know what to do. Like, it's just one of those things, right? Like we just stuff starts to happen, and it's not in your mind per se. And like, I'm not trying to dispute people's real issues, right? It's just, it's in our minds, in the sense that if we could just like center and think, okay, I'm okay, X is happening, something is just happening, that's all it is. Like, it's a neutral event, it just, this is what's happening, right? And that way we sort of try to calm down some of those things that might be external stressors to ourselves, right? And that usually,
so it's like the people who suffer from anxiety, right? And then anxiety causes the stress, and then we have all these things happening to our body. My doctor told me the eczema that just appeared out of nowhere was stress. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I had to think about, what you just said, like mindfulness, knowing that I'm okay. And hopefully it will go away, but it is healing. But that was one of the major things. I was like, stress. I'm like, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. What's going on now? And so I listened to that. Also, let's go back when you was talking about products. You were talking about you being allergic to things that you take internally. And how about things you actually externally? Like, let's talk about hair products that for Black women's hair, right? So let's talk about that.
So there was a study done in 2016 by the Environmental Working Group, which is a nonprofit organization that does research on the toxins and stuff that are in different products, in our consumer products. And they found out that less than 25% of the products marketed to Black women score low on a potentially hazardous ingredient list. And what that means is, if you take a standard African-American product, something that is heavily marketed to us, and you put it up against, like, that, you look at the ingredients and you take a look at what those ingredients, what they score, most of our products score from the 6s to the 6 to 9. And just to give you sort of like a
where is that on a scale?
The scale is 0. So starting at 4, you start turning red.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we're at 6, right? Like out the gate, and then stuff just keeps piling on. I mean, I think most Black people now are starting to be, this is where the whole natural hair care movement came from. We realized that the perms were just basically jacking us up, right?
And killing
us. We realized, right, basically, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, African-American women are more susceptible to fibroids. Well, it turns out that our perms were causing us to have fibroids. But, it clearly became, oh, African American women are, and all these things that they're talking about, African American women or men or whatever are susceptible to one thing or another. If you just think about what is marketed in our neighborhoods and what's marketed on our television stations or radio stations, and then there's a direct correlation to some of the toxins that are in these products that are marketed towards us, that's going to give you high blood pressure. You think about the food deserts in urban communities, all you have is junk food. Well, obviously if all you're eating is Kool-Aid and sugar pops or whatever, obviously it's going to trigger diabetes. I mean, do that anyway. It doesn't mean it's super black, right? And of course there are some genetic predisposed markers, but it's not just like, there are environmental factors. So going back to your question, so there was an analysis done on about 1,100 personal care beauty products marketed towards Black women, and 1 in 12 ranked highly hazardous on their scaling system. And I would highly encourage everyone to go to the EWG.org website. And there you can find any type of, because they don't just do products, they also do foods, they do household products like Lysol, and which is a hazardous chemical.
Oh my God, did you say Lysol?
Yes.
Lord, everybody's gonna die because everybody has went to get Lysol wipes, Lysol spray, Lysol liquid. The entire world has been running to that. Was it made from Johnson & Johnson?
Yeah. So totally toxic. Totally toxic. Yeah. So the most toxic area in the house, in the most toxic environment that we are in is actually our houses.
Yeah.
Because it's the Lysol, it's the Clorox, it's the soap, it's like the shampoos and stuff. Like, for example, before 9 o'clock, the average woman, it has exposed themselves to 168 toxins by 9. Before you do anything, by 9, you wash your hair, you well, we don't do it every day, but you know what I mean, like, you know what I'm saying, you wash your hair, you condition it every other weekend. every other week I'm gonna change that, every other week. But the body soap we use, the moisturizers we use, the lotions, the perfume, all that stuff. Yeah, before we even get to our kitchens to make a cup of coffee, if you go in that order, you've already exposed yourself to 168 toxins, and then you walk outside, and then you got the whole
environmental toxins.
Yeah. So there's it's all these things, and so not that your toothpaste all of a sudden is going to be it's a buildup, right? Like it's buildup that's causing some of these ailments and illnesses. It's the buildup of whatever it is that you're using, and without us educating ourselves on what potentially we could be harming ourselves with, or even knowing, like, I'm gonna be honest, Doritos are one of the most toxic chips out there. However, I like Doritos. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna calculate, how much toxins I can have, like, whatever. But again, this is a conscious choice though. Like, I'm not gonna, the reason why I call it an organic journey, because I'm still on a journey. I'm still, making my way to the ultimate or whatever, but I'm educated about it, right? So I know I can't eat a whole entire bag of Doritos every single day. Like, I know that's a buildup of toxins in my body. I did that when I was pregnant. Yeah, I know, right? I did that when I was pregnant. I feel so horrible with my first son. I'm like, oh my God, I totally poisoned my child, but whatever. It probably explains a lot. I was kidding. But it's just knowing, right? Like, if I had known that, I would not have eaten a bag of Doritos every day. And I don't mean a small bag. Like, I mean, yeah, I got
grande. Okay.
Right. But if I had known, I could have consciously said, okay, Theresa, have 3 chips because this is toxic, right? So it's all about educating ourselves and being aware. So back to this website I'm talking about, you can take one of your products, right? And you can just this one doesn't have a barcode on it, and you can just sort of scan it, right? Okay. With their phone, and it'll pull it up. And it'll pull up what could possibly be in there. And so one of my favorite products that I had, I was using, I don't know if I want to say the name. Whatever. It's on the website.
Right.
Right. I mean,
and there's no sponsor, so let's go.
Right. Exactly. So the Shea Moisture. There's a shampoo that has an 8 rating, and my computer just died. I had it pulled up. It has an 8 rating, and now this thing I was using religiously because I have 4C hair, so I need to moisture or whatever, and I loved it. So, but I see it, I'm like, wow, 8. So what was I doing that whole time, right? I'm like moisturizing my hair so it doesn't like fall out. Meanwhile, maybe my hair is falling out because of the stuff I'm putting in there, right? Like, I don't know. Like, so it's those types of things that it's just a matter of being educated about what you're doing to yourself, right? And the reason why this particular study was so important, first of all, it took a lot of years of advocacy for this particular company to do the research in the first place. And when they finally, it was advocated by other organic and natural groups led by African Americans who were saying, like, obviously we need funding to do all these studies, right? So it's not like it's not free. So they were advocating for it, and it took years. They finally did it, and it showed conclusive evidence of what we've already known, right? That some of these things that are marketed directly towards us has toxins that are killing us slowly.
And
right? So
you know what, Bex, we talk about health is wealth all the time. We always talk about diseases that affect us and are killing Black women. Mostly, we are at the top of the scale when it comes to deaths and breast cancers and diabetes, hypertension, all types of issues. And so as we were reading up on things and studying these things and also going on our show and saying, hey, we got to be careful with this, we got to be careful with this, this explains a lot because of the products that are marketed to us, especially when it comes to our hair. They basically were killing us.
Yeah.
They basically were killing us. And like, I hear this and I get so pissed off,
They were using our self-loathing of our own selves to market and kill us, right? Like this is why, this is why being clear up here first, so you can save you from a lot of stuff, because if you're clear and you love yourself here and you don't have, I love my 4C hair. It's dry, don't get me wrong, but
and you look
right?
beautiful. I love it. I love you. Look so good. Like, you look gorgeous. Like, I love it. And like, once we realize that our hair is beautiful, it just changes us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And when you know better, you do better.
Yep,
know?
exactly.
And that's part of it. It's like knowing better to do better. So it's like, you said that website is
ewg.org and
ewg.org.
Yep.
And is it a mobile app to that, or?
So they do have a mobile app as part of this, and there's like apps, there's all sorts of stuff. Like I said, it's not just beauty products. It just happens to be one of the things that drew me, because I obviously, at one point it's been a while, but at one point I was doing that with my hair. And I'm trying to find it real quick, but
it says EWG's Healthy Living app. So when you go on the website,
there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just went to the website and fixed it
and
up.
then so speaking of like the relaxers and stuff, and like I said, it's the range is 1 to 10, and hair relaxers and dyes marketed to African American women score an average of 8.1. Right. And so these toxins are toxins that are carcinogenic. These are toxins that cause reproductive problems. These are toxins that cause autoimmune triggers. Yep. Surprise, the whole, Black women and lupus, right? These are all things that are that trigger anything in anybody, I'm sure, but it's specifically marketed towards us. And then now you're starting to see this direct correlation to the illness in the African American community and what we're using. Right. What we're eating, what we're consuming. And so one of the reasons why, I decided to do the Natural Mixx was because I want to change the conversation around who owns their own wellness, right? Who owns their own bodies. Like, it's clear we own our own bodies, but is it though? Because we're doing whatever somebody tells us.
Yeah.
Right. And we're putting it in, we're the ones who are taking it, purposing it, making it a millionaire, and they're basically destroying our bodies. You were starting to talk about your company you founded. So let's continue with that. Let's talk about the Natural Mixx. Yeah.
So the Natural Mixx Company is sort of a and you mentioned, and I had sent it around my bio. So I started with advocacy because the first thing you saw, like, you were like, man, I'm mad. So I was like, I'm mad too. Like, I'm a huge advocate in general, and I'm like, I'm gonna write me some letters. Whatever. So that's what started this. And then I realized, not that doesn't work. It does. I'm still doing it. Then I realized, well, maybe it's just education, right? Is what I said. So I started a company called Mix and Melt Studios. which I still have. And I would go, and it was sort of like a paint and sip, but I would be teaching people how to make soaps and candles and body products, right? And I called it edutainment because while everybody was having fun making soap and candles and whatever, I'm like, hey, by the way, did you know that the candles that you buy at Bath and Body Works, 90% of it is a carcinogenic effect in your house, and you just burnt it in front of your baby. Right? People are like, what? I'm like, yeah. Did you know that the wax in a standard candle in a store is made from the byproduct of petrol? It's petroleum byproduct. So it is literally the piece that they were throwing away that they noticed when it was like getting taken out of the oil. They realized like, oh, look, it's on fire. So somebody decided to make it a wax. And now we're in our homes just burning stuff. We just like burning.
Can you just pause right there? Pause. Did you say petroleum? Is that the same as petroleum jelly, as in Blue Seal Vaseline?
No, no, not that.
Because that our mamas put all over our faces.
Right. They was like that. My mama said that's what healed everything. Mama, I broke my arm. Put some Vaseline on it.
Exactly.
So I just want to know that's the same, because as children, there was no black ash. Petroleum jelly, Blue Seal Vaseline.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So it's not the same.
Like a fried chicken. No.
Okay.
I mean petroleum. I mean the gas, the oil. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I want to make sure. Okay.
Yeah. You're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah. No, I'm talking about the gas. So when they process.
Is it safe to say that you should make your own? You know how you go to these organic places and you buying all this product and you're like, okay, like I use shea butter, and it's not called shea butter, it's everything butter. So now you got me want to scan that thing, but it's like homemade, like someone actually makes it in their house, and then I purchase it and they ship it, and it's amazing.
Right.
I moisturize my hair with it and everything else.
Oh wow.
And I'm sitting here looking at it like, I need to know where the label's at so I can scan that.
So I will say with their database, not everything's in there. I would say you're probably safer, and I would still ask the maker. You're probably safer with the person who's making this, because because I teach people, I have made my own soaps and candles and all that stuff. That stuff takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And usually, because it takes a lot of time, it's also expensive. And so if you're going to charge somebody $40 for whatever, it better be a reason why I'm paying $40 and not going to Walmart and buying for $4, right? So usually people are advocating it's natural or organic or whatever. And I'm saying, I'd be more concerned about the shea butter you bought in the store than buy the ones that you bought from a person. Just because they are having to compete with the store brand, and they can't compete because it's going to cost them $40 to make it. You know what I'm saying? So So if it's a homemade, not always, I'm not going to say always, but usually, and I would advocate that you talk to the people. And one of the things that part of my company, I'm in IT, so I had to figure out a way to merge my passion with what I know how to do really well, which is program. And so I started, I launched a marketplace, an organic marketplace recently, like this week. And basically what you just said, Bex, is, well, now I'm concerned, like what am I using? What is in there? And I'm like you, like I was concerned, I'm concerned too. So I was like, where can someone go to find what is like really, really good for the body, or what is non-toxic or whatever. So, and there's a bunch of places to go. And quite frankly, I've done the research and I've pulled up about 1,400, and that was just me doing some research, 1,400 product makers, not even internationally, it's sort of like America, maybe Australia, and some like European countries or whatever. But that's just here basically in America, right? So that's a lot of people who are making these things. And that's why I said more than likely these people are they're going to want to do the natural way, because otherwise, it's going to cost them way more money. But anyways, so I'm like you, I want to know, where can I go to find things that are not going to kill me and my family? Right. Of course, there are recipes. I'll be honest, to make a candle, it takes about, you can do it in about an hour, and it takes about an hour to set, right? You can make your own lotions. It doesn't take that long, but there's like 6 different ingredients, some emulsifiers.
That's why we're doing that $40. That's right.
Right.
That's
exactly. Right.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. I literally just paid, I think, $60 for a shampoo, but it's all natural, like everything. Like he actually is a guy who makes it. He actually, like, you see him with the oils and putting all the oils. Yeah. And it moisturizes, your hair feels like mental. I'm like, oh my, I'm in heaven.
And those oils are not cheap. at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
And if you want something to smell really good, you're gonna have to go with some real natural stuff, right? And so that costs a lot of money as well. So that's what I'm saying. If you're paying $60 for something, more than likely, especially if it's a homemade thing, more than likely these people are doing it because there's a passion around it, and they care in the sense that they wanted to produce something on this world. Don't get me wrong, there are probably people out there that aren't doing that. I'm not saying that it is, but you're more than likely to find it that way. And I would just ask questions, be like, hey, can I see your ingredients list? Most people who are natural, organic people, they'll be like, oh yeah, girl, here.
They send you the whole list, so everything.
Yeah, they're proud of it.
Like, oh,
You like, I didn't want a book though, but yeah, I asked this one lady, and we had like a whole hour and a half conversation about what kind of ingredients she uses and why the other ones, like for example, the toothpaste. I'm not even trying to quote it because it was a lot, but she was so smart with it. And our toothpaste, right? Like you don't even think about it, but our toothpaste is like you're brushing cancer into your mouth. Like it's stuff like that.
Oh God, I just dropped my pen.
And I learned that quickly because there's even on the bottom of the toothpaste, the certain markers that tell you which ones are more toxic than others. And I'm like,
right.
Now I'm in the store looking at the bottom like, if it's black, oh no, I don't want that.
Right. Oh my gosh, that makes me very nervous.
Yeah.
That makes us very nervous. And I know people who are listening right now and watching this are like, okay, look at my cabinet and see what we see. Because we're thinking it's the stuff that we're eating, but it's the stuff that we're using on a day-to-day basis.
Topically,
Right. Our lotions too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, although I have my own whatever, I have oils to use, but the lotions that smell nice and stuff. And
those things, all of that. That's a fragrance. Those fragrances are basically across the board a 9 on this list, right? Like toxic.
Oh my
because
gosh.
what it is fragrance. You just type in fragrance, it's a 9 in the EWG database, period, right? So because it's a chemically created compound, right? And it's not natural. So in order to get, like, how the heck are you supposed to get spicy morning glory? Like, what the heck is that? Is that a natural smell? Like, I don't understand.
I don't know. Is that like I don't know, a spice, like an actual spice from like the cabinet?
Probably not. It's probably like number 72 blue, or you know what I mean? Like,
oh God, it's yellow 10. It's yellow 10.
Yellow 6, yellow 5. Oh my gosh.
So 40, red. 40,
so you know how you just talked about like the dyes and the perms and how they're killing our bodies. I just went back to like when I was pregnant, and the doctors tell you, don't dye your hair while you're pregnant.
Yes,
don't
that is
true.
While
you're pregnant, because it affects the baby. Never have they ever said, don't use it because it's affecting you. It's toxic.
No one ever said that. When you go to the doctor,
talk about the baby, and it's like, so now that I'm thinking back, like, well, if it was so toxic to my child, like, why was I perming my hair
in the first place?
My bloodstream, and even going to beauty schools, like, just the number of, it's like certain things that you also learn when you like you said, educated on different things. And you're like, wow, like, first of all, Black people were permanent hair incorrectly the whole entire time.
Right.
No, hair out.
Right. Why is this hole in my head? Right.
But since the beginning, that lie they used to put in their hair back in the 20s.
Yes!
They were burnt. Like, I know everybody's seen Malcolm X, right? Everybody saw that. That's I could direct it to Malcolm X. That was straight.
That movie.
Oh, okay. We're gonna have you watch that on Netflix. They're playing all the Black movies now, girl.
What?
So
they are.
You've never seen Malcolm X, but when you see it, you know what I'm talking about. It's right in the beginning. But they're playing all Black movies on Netflix right now.
Yeah, they definitely are.
It's cool to be Black right now.
Yeah. So, but they put that on their hair, and it was basically burning our scalps. It was.
First of all,
scalps.
Dark and Lovely was burning our scalps. I don't know about y'all, because I have 4C, like, I had to keep it on for, like, they said 39 to 40 minutes. Mine was like 42.7. So, like, I had I had sores all the time, but I was trying to get that, never quite worked out. I'm not sure where our grandfather's from, but okay. I
think isn't he Jamaican?
Oh no, neither.
I'm just saying,
stories.
somebody, I don't know, but somebody came up, right? And so, like, I was constantly putting that stuff. And you're right, Bex. Like, they were telling us that it will harm our baby. Why didn't we make the connection? It had to get through me to get to my baby.
Exactly.
Like, what? Why didn't we just, like,
So,
because you know
oh my
why we wanted
gosh.
that straightness.
We was like,
So this
yeah,
systemic racism is just everywhere. Like I can't take it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's everywhere. It is. I'm thinking
yeah,
this is why we need Black doctors.
Yep.
This is why we need Black nutritionists who knows our skin, our health, our Black
yes,
pulmonologists who knows our lungs, because
yeah,
they're just pushing this. And I found this out because my son has asthma, pushing things on us, and we're saying, okay, that's going to work. Okay, that's going to work.
right,
Not really knowing anything. Just like,
yeah,
you know, I go to a Black dermatologist. She's absolutely amazing. That's who told me that what I was doing, I was stressing out here. And she was,
right,
you know, and she was just telling me, you know, what, you know, my soap I was using was horrible for me. So just to wash my hands.
yeah,
It's horrible for me. And I was like, okay, I'm thinking it's great because it's dial. And dial takes away all the cooties, right? When you
right,
wash your hands,
right,
it takes away all the cooties, but it's damaging to our skin.
yeah,
It was finding out and making my
Dries you
eczema
out,
worse.
yeah.
Right.
right,
So we need to have people in our community. That's why we got to have more doctors and more
Yep.
dentists and more people in those categories who study us, right? Who study us, who study the way we live and what we eat and what's good for our bodies. Because this stuff, we didn't know this stuff. We just using stuff and going to bed and bath beyond.
Well,
And
somebody knew, because there's a reason why lye wasn't in other people's products. There's a reason why the Black products have linkages to baldness and growths in your uterus and premature births and low infant birth rates.
Yeah.
There's a reason why that study was very quickly easy to link. They've already known this, but if it's going to impact somebody's capitalistic gain,
of course, yeah.
then like why would you even
Why
bother,
would you share
right?
the information? But I'm talking
Right.
about people in the Black community we did not know.
Yeah, no,
and we're going to the doctors who probably did know.
exactly.
They probably did know, but they didn't share
Right.
it with us.
No, not at all. And you're right. This is exactly why we educate.
Like even when you have diabetes or hypertension, the medication that you take has side effects. Like
Right.
I forgot what I had anxiety, and or you look at the anxiety pills and you read it and you're like, okay, so this is gonna make me have this. Like this anxiety pill is supposed to help me with my anxiousness.
Yeah.
And it does all these other things to me. I'm gonna start seeing things, and
Right.
like
I'm gonna grow that extra finger.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like, what kind of? So I started researching about what type of products can I use, or organic products I can use to decrease the anxiety feelings that I was having.
Or mindfulness, Lady
now,
Beth.
right?
Yeah.
Now, during this time, like my anxiety and OCD was like to the umpteen power. Today I went to the store and I went to Michael's. And I was, I just saw all the, I thought it was my mind. And I'm like, I know it's not my mind. I went into Michael's and all of a sudden I had like an instant headache. My chest started hurting. And because I watched everyone with their mask on, some had their mask off. I'm like, okay, you're a little too close.
Right.
And I literally went back to the car, purchased it online, and went back and picked it up. And I was staying in the car. Like, okay, when it comes out, I'll come to the door and get it.
Right.
But, it's crazy. Like stress is crazy, anxiety, like everything around us is
right.
Educate ourselves.
One of the not only that, but like you made a point, and then Celine, you picked. Oh, I'm sorry, Rock, you picked that up too. You were saying about how we're related, so it's hard. But you were saying how how like you're anxious, and then somebody's not really telling you or whatever. But part of it is, if we in the Black community understood mental health and we weren't, if it wasn't so stigmatized, then these types of like what you experience with anxiety, and like we're going to the doctors because I have it too, right? And we don't know, we've not talked about it in our communities. And so we are letting someone tell us this is what you take. Because it's not like it's been a conversation in our homes. Like we don't know, you know what I'm saying? But like if we had those conversations, and if we had as a culture made it part of, okay, if you're feeling anxious or whatever, take some ginkgo biloba, or if you're feeling stressed, then take this if you're feeling like you can't focus, take some ashwagandha. Like if we were having these conversations in the Black community and having them from a point of view where we're okay with anything talking about stuff, then we wouldn't be so susceptible to somebody else telling us what to do or giving us whatever. Yeah,
We have to be open.
That's a huge problem. And there's so many groups that are coming up around this now, especially after the trauma we just all experienced the last couple weeks.
Yes, absolutely.
People are starting to become more clear. Okay, we can't walk. Like, I don't know about you guys. I went to work and like I couldn't even focus, right? Because I'm so stressed and so anxious, and like my kids are going outside. I'm like, oh my God, don't leave. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
This is we're in such a toxic time. You know what I'm saying? But we haven't had these really good conversations around what to do about that, right?
Right.
So, especially now.
Yeah,
I just put that out there.
No, that is true, because we are experiencing this racial trauma, reoccurring racial trauma, that it's causing us to all have a bit of anxiety. We're all feeling it, and some of us don't know what to call it. But you can every time we look at Facebook and we see another boy who has been killed by the police, we see the deaths, and we're watching people die on TV. We're not just hearing it. We actually are viewing people being slain. And so that is causing us to feel this way. And also we all have sons, right? We all have sons, we have daughters. And so it's making us, fear. It's making us causing fear in our lives. And so that trauma is real. And so, when Lady Bex was talking about her episode at Michael's and everything like that, we do have to focus on mindfulness. We do have to find out what calms us down. This is for all of us, right? And this is the time to do it. A lot of Black girl yogis out there, Black men yogis out there who are focusing on those things, because it's part of the healing is the mindfulness, right? It's part of it. And that's, that is such an important point you made earlier when you said that just getting our heads clear first, and that, that will lower the inflammation in our bodies. And not saying that diseases are not real, but who knows, it might lower it. It would take away the eczema in our skin. Our hair will begin to grow back, and because a lot of Black women are suffering from like alopecia and from severe stress. And that's a real thing. It was something we made a point. Oh, if we can go back, we talked about Shea Moisture. Talk about how you said that was an 8 on that scale.
Okay, let me pull this up.
I just want to say this: Shea Moisture is owned by a Black man. Okay. He bought Shea Moisture, and I think he owns Essence or something now too. So if anybody you want to write, you need to write Homeboy, okay? And because those are the products that are marketing to us, and we are buying Shea Moisture like this, okay? We're buying all their products and everything. They're $20 bottles that are like this small. We're trying to support that. So people who are Black-owned companies that we're all supporting, we're all like, yes, we're about to do this. They need to know what's going in those products. They need to know that what's going into the lotions and the soaps and everything that we're putting on our baby skin.
Oh yeah,
our baby's hair. Right.
Yeah.
And so,
I would. You're probably so clear with those, but
listen. I'm gonna be, once we offer this show, I'm gonna be looking at that site and scanning everything in my house.
All facts. My whole thing is about to be.
You talk about Lysol and like literally, like I bought 10 cans of Lysol. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, spraying through, and that was something that we were brought up to do for years. Like I've been killing myself forever.
I do it all the time.
You know I do it
all the time. Yeah.
Well, I know that they said that when you spray, you're not supposed to inhale it. You go out the back.
But we all in it. We're all in it.
Spray it, and then you run out. Like it goes along.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I do want to say, since I've seen that, like, so I'm looking at it now. I'm not saying all Shea Moisture, because there have been times where there's been a product and it's been marked and they stopped making it and they reformulate it. Because right now I just typed in Shea Moisture, and the products I'm looking at are all under 3s, right? And so I haven't. So I think that they might have just reformulated it. Maybe somebody did. Maybe somebody wrote a letter and was like, sir,
perfect.
I'm gonna need you to reformulate that. But that's part of that advocacy, right? Like we have to, and that's what I was talking about. We have to change the conversation around what an acceptable standard is. Because if we all come together and like, no, we're not buying this, I'm gonna need you to change this, they're gonna have to change it. Because remember, we're in a capitalist society. They're gonna be like, oh,
numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the Black dollar is super strong. So
Word up.
And it is like it's a power in writing, right? Because this guy was stopped. I was in Fairways, so this guy was stopped. He's a black guy. They stopped him thinking that he stole, right? Because he's walking with a limp, and he's an older guy, and he was so upset. Like, I brought this bag inside of here. You don't even sell this. So while he's walking out, like I was walking in the store, and I came back out, I said, you need to write a letter to the corporation because that's not okay. You should not be stopping someone outside the store. You look through his bag, and then all you say is sorry. I said, oh, heck no. Write a letter. He's like, you know what? You're right, young child. I'm like, that's right. Go write a letter. Because writing letters, like your voice, I always say your voice matter. Your writing. Your notes matter. Everything matters as a black person. Like we have to build up our voices to say that this is not okay. I am sorry.
Like books and Black Lives.
Yeah, absolutely
matters, right? That's what Prince said. Mrs. Theresa Quitto-Dickerson.
Yeah.
We love you. I would love for you to come back to join a conversation on the SistaHood show. I would love for you to just speak on some health and wellness things because I don't know about you, Lady Bex, but this was definitely an eye opener. And the things that I'm sure it is that people who are listening and watching right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the founder of the Natural Mixx Company. You can find her info is info.thenaturalmixx.com. Mixx.com. Find information about her companies on there. For the last couple of seconds, can you tell us about your book that's coming out?
Yes. So I wrote a book about my journey, going through the different products, and I basically took the top 10 worst toxins that that can be found, and I just went through them and broke them down. Right. So it's called An Organic Journey, a quick kickstart guide to products, right? And it's a series: products, beauty products, and household products. And so the first book will be out in August.
Awesome.
On Amazon.
Give us some hand claps.
Yes.
House for that. Very good. Very nice.
And then the marketplace.
Here we go.
And if you go to the Natural Mixx with the double X, because that represents female power, naturalmixx.com, and pre-register for the organic marketplace, so you can to sign up to be one of the beta users of the marketplace. And so I also wanted to say this. I wanted to fact check myself. I didn't want to leave this out here. So the Shea Moisture thing I was looking for was reformulated in 2016. So that's why it's no longer there, but it's on the site still. It shows that was there. So I just wanted to say that because I felt really bad. I'm like, it is on my black eye.
No, it's perfect because you know what? That would make us look anyway. Now women are saying, let me go look at my cabinet right now. Let me look at my closet right now. We're gonna be checking our products.
This was a breeze right now.
Let me look it up for you, ma'am.
Right there. Right. No, it's important.
Right, we do.
It is important. Everyone, this is the SistaHood Radio. My name is LaRock Lewis. That right there is
Lady Bex.
And we are unbossed and
unbothered.
We are here to empower, inspire, and uplift Black women in culture all day, every day, 365. We're going to shout out to our DJ Powerhouse right now for keeping up with us. Hey, Powerhouse.
Is that the brother to the SistaHood shirt?
Repping the shirt, repping the brand. We're repping the brand. If you want to find out more about the t-shirts, you can go get it at Lady Beck's website.
CourageouslyInspired.com. CourageouslyInspired.com.
You can purchase other shirts, and also you can purchase the SistaHood Radio shirt if you like. This has been a wonderful show, everybody. I'm so glad you are here to join us. When you are done, you can check us out on the SistaHood Network right there on our YouTube channel. Please check out our IG at the SistaHood Radio. All right, everybody. Thank you again, Mrs. Quitto-Dickerson. Woo, we love you so much.
Yes, let me get this little bit of quote in here.
Go ahead.
Put that organic quote up.
Go ahead.
Products that support your wellness and help you feel gorgeous, ladies and gentlemen. Choose products that support your wellness and help you feel gorgeous. So we definitely need to talk offline because I'm going to give you every product I got in my house.
Like, give me 1 second. Let me just pull this up over here.
That is right. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming. Everybody give a good wave. I take a picture of it. Give a good wave. All right, then, everybody. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend.